So we're working on an all-female renovation project. The architect, structural engineer, female electrician, even like the sky engineer turned up to move the satellite dish, and it was a girl.
So I played for Charlton. So I lived in the big...
Is this football?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I love this. I love this. This is great.
I got a door licence. I went to work in Amazon.
As in like security.
Like a bouncer. Yes, it's going as well.
I've
It's
got
like a
one.
rite of passage.
Yeah. Give us your best security one.
You're not coming in.
What's the hardest bit then for you about being in the trade? What would you say really stresses you out?
And there are some idiots out there in there, like you do get a comment now and then, but 99% of these people, these blokes, they sound. It's not so much of a boys' club anymore. 9 times out of 10, you'll get stuck up for by other blokes on site.
So we are back with another Trade Legends special, and we have 2 fantastic new guests on. But before I get to the guests, I just want to say, if you enjoy the show and you like what we do, go like, subscribe, give us a little tickle somewhere, put the notifications on the bell on YouTube. That will do us a real big favour for the channel. So over to the 2 new guests tonight, and we have Yaz and we have Emily.
Hello.
Tell us where you're from. Who wants to go first?
Go on, Em.
I'm Emily, also known as Chippy M. I'm from Pontypridd, just outside of Cardiff.
And currently you are in...
Ipswich.
But we'll get to that in a minute, because that surprised me. And where are you from, Yaz?
I'm from Brighton, known as YPC Carpentry. And we're currently in Ipswich.
Switch. So what we tend to do when people come on the podcast is we like to sort of get you to take us back to probably when you left school and sort of tell us how you came to get into the trades, because everybody's sort of story is completely different. Yes, we get the standard, my dad was a carpenter, so I was a carpenter, and my son will be a carpenter, and his son, and you get that sort of story. So there are those, but there are some really obscure ways that you came to be doing what you're doing, and you sort of... We've had Jack, we've had marine biologist, we've had used car salesman. What else have we had that was a bit... D used to work at Hooters.
Personal trainers.
Plasterer.
Did she really? Yeah, she used to work at Hooters. What else have we had? We've had some really obscure things that
Coppers.
I wish mine was out.
Yeah, copper.
Yeah.
You've had a lot of jobs, though.
Me?
Yeah,
I've
had
had a lot of jobs.
You've done some different things.
Yeah, I have.
I did as well when I was younger. I'd last somewhere for 2-3 days and be like, this is shit.
Literally, don't like that shit. That's just,
Bye.
it's a running joke in my house. My sister's like, you've done that, haven't you? I'm like, actually, I have, yeah.
So, which one of you would like to go first? Who do you think we should delve into first?
You've got loads, so...
Yeah, which means you go first.
Okay,
yeah.
all right, I'll go first. So I left school and went to an academy. So I played for Charlton. So I lived in the big...
Is this football?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I love this.
It was,
I love that. Look, you were like, no, I haven't really got a story. Played for Charlton.
She listens to Talk Sports, so, swings and roundabouts.
I love this. This is great.
So I lived in the digs when I was 16 in South London. I stayed there until I was about 20.
Whereabouts in South?
Deptford, Greenwich.
Oh, Deptford.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
I had a mate that lived in Deptford, because I used to actually live not far from the Cutty Sark.
Oh, yeah. Literally just over the bridge. That's where my halls were, student halls. So
Is that where they train then, Charlton over?
No, we then used to have to get the bus to New Alton. So but it was quite exciting. I was only 16 then. So I stayed there till I was about 20. Then I come home and was like, oh, what am I going to do?
Yeah. And Brighton was originally home.
So I went home, and then I did some E-Tech stuff, thinking I was going to go to uni and stuff like that, and I thought, nah, not for me.
What did you do the B-Tech in?
Sport, science, and
standard.
Standard stuff. And I was just
standard football player. I'll do sport.
Yeah.
Before we go any further, what position did you play?
Left and right back. So, but Charlton was my only team, so I went to academy there, but I went everywhere: Brighton, Watford, Gillingham, AFC Wimbledon, literally all over.
How long ago is this?
Oh, well.
I don't really want to give your age away.
Yeah,
but
I'm 36 now, so
because the football now, especially ladies' football, is massive.
I'm just 10 years too old.
We had this conversation 2 days ago,
Yeah, so like
It's big.
it's big now.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be doing what I'm doing now if I was 10 years younger.
Are you still playing now?
I'm not now. I'm like transitioning into running. So I haven't played for a year and a
She
half.
would have been really good on the Keep You Uppy challenge. Because we used to do a Keep You Uppy challenge
okay.
on the show.
Yeah, so I did that, and then I was like, I need a career, I need something. And then I knew, obviously, school wasn't my strength, being dyslexic and ADHD and stuff like that. So I was like, I want to trade, and it was so difficult to get a trade. I did like about 7 weeks with different companies doing.
Is that just because of where you are in Brighton? Do you think that's a
I think
thing?
it was just back then. There wasn't many females doing it in my area, to be honest. And I did so many trial weeks and things like that, and it was like the thing that they wouldn't.
Is this
get
in different
over.
trades or in what you're doing? What you're doing now?
Basically, it is in a few different ones, but I wasn't too. Like, I didn't mind what kind of trade I went into, really.
Which ones did you do?
I done like electrician's mate, like that kind of thing. I knew plumber on the first day. I was like, I cannot do the whole toilet situation. I was like, it's not for me.
She had a soil pipe today in the machine, and she's ganging in the machine. I'm stood at 2 foot away from her with a shovel, like, why are you ganging for?
No, not
like,
for me.
oh God.
No, not for me. So I did that, and then basically they just said you will find one. It's just they didn't want to have a separate toilet. That was the main issue. They didn't want to have a separate toilet for a female. And then eventually I got one with a really small company called Creative Lofts. And there was me and another guy, and he kind of, because he was a male, he got £25 more than me. I did a day, which was brutal. And then the college kind of clicked onto that, and they moved me to a bigger company called Cheesemeres, and I finished my apprenticeship there, and I've not looked back, and I literally love it now.
Dream job.
Like literally love it.
Are you still with the same company? Or?
No, I'm on my own
Just
now.
on your own?
Yeah.
You're not completely on your own.
Oh, I have the tagging along every now and then.
Excuse me.
Don't mind me.
So when did you? So obviously you went with that company. When did you then decide in your head that you were going to become self-employed? Because that's what there's probably 4 or 5 things that always come up. One is, do I go self-employed?
Yeah.
And everyone always goes, yeah.
Yes, brilliant.
Just go for it. It's amazing. Like fairies and unicorns. It'll be amazing
Loads
forever.
of money.
When really you work so many hours. If you probably totaled it up, it's less than minimum wage.
Oh yeah, and all the crying in your van. That's going to be
you've
with
got,
something.
You've got the permanent headache. You've got customers ringing you. The phone,
8 p.m. on a Sunday. What door handle shall I get? Please.
I'm bad for it myself because I've worked with a contractor, Andy. So sorry, Andy, if you're watching this. And I always forget, and I go, I'm ringing him at 8:45.
Because it's popped into your head.
And I'm like, I'll just put that down. I was like, sorry, on WhatsApp, because but people don't realise this. So people will always ask. So anybody listening and watching, you're going to get explained to why you should go self-employed with a normal answer, not just it's amazing. And stuff to do with apprentices and stuff like that. We always get certain questions that always come up. So when did you decide that that was the way you were going to go?
For me, I didn't. It wasn't really a decision. Really, it was. I was never going to get what in my area what carpenters should get all the time being employed by somebody, because being a female, and I'm quite small, so I always used to get, but you can't lift as much, and I can do exactly the same as what they can do, but that was the excuse I always used to get. So I was like, this is where I need to make the decision and just kind of go on my own. And then I eventually, it's my price, it's my day rate. That's what I mean. So I just price for myself now. I kind of got forced into it, really.
Any regrets?
No, I love it.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not, no.
What is like 1 or 2 things that you would say to somebody to give them a little bit of advice who are watching this that go, no, she said she loves it, so it's got to be great. Like, is there anything that you wished that you knew that you know now, or is there?
I would say, for me, at the start, I didn't talk to people, ask people questions, because I still don't know everything with like even like my books and stuff like that. I still really struggle and stuff like that. And I feel like the more conversations and the bigger the network I get,
100%.
the easier it is. So that's the main thing. Create, because I am solely on my own. It's just me. But I know if I'm stuck on something, I can call you or I can ask Lewis or anybody else. And it's just creating a network, really, and that helps massively.
Just don't be afraid to ask.
Exactly that, yeah.
And what's the favourite part of your job that you do? Is there anything that like you particularly like to? apart from working alongside you.
Do you know what? That's so hard because I literally love everything about it, to be honest. Sometimes it's like quite lonely, like when you're on your own doing your own little things. Like I don't like that. I prefer to be as a team and bouncing off people and things like that. So I'd probably say if I'm doing like a little wardrobe or something like that and I'm on my own, then working on my own really. But other than that,
I've got to say, like, it's quite a good. You know, we mentioned a few people before. That's quite a good flip, isn't it? Football to
carpentry.
It's just where it's so
Don't say
active.
working with your hands because...
No, but it's so active. Like, I can't sit still at the best of times like literally. So it's just kind of like transition and like
just moving the energy, isn't it?
It literally is. It's like I can't really watch TV or anything. I don't really watch TV because I just constantly need to be moving. Like, you're going up, I'm going to go and get in my van and get into bed, and I'm like, I'm just going to be out here for a little bit longer, walking around.
Pure part of her. I'm just like, I'm just going to 5 minutes. She's like,
I find that though, like I'll be sat here and I just look down and my legs going, and I'm like in my head.
Yeah.
Thinking it's normal.
100 things at one time.
It is normal, isn't it?
But no, that's, you know, Jack will attest to it, is the amount of people that we have on, especially trades, where they are dyslexic or ADHD, or we've had people with OCD on or slightly autistic and stuff like that. I find that a lot of the people that do come into work in trades actually are slightly
loads of us.
Because you have to adapt. You do have to adapt. That's the thing.
It's like way of thinking,
problem solving all the time. Like, even like the simplest things at school, you think, I can't spell that word, so I'm going to change the sentence
so I don't have to use it.
So I don't have to use that word.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like at work sometimes. It's like, well, I can't reach that, I can't get over that. So I'm
Thank
going
God
to
for
have to change
ChatGPT checking my spelling.
We call him our mate.
What are you doing? Just asking my mate?
Just asking my mate. Oh, he's like, how do we...
I literally talk into it.
Yeah.
And dictate
We've
it.
just figured this out this week.
Yeah.
And it just dictates it and then rewrites it for me.
Fantastic.
We're going to have to start giving him a wage.
Where have you been all my life? No, I understand that. I mean, that's one of the main things that I realise, that people hate paperwork as well, because obviously if you...
Oh, it's the worst part.
How long did it take us? Over the phone?
So we obviously put the quote together for this job, and we're not together. So then we've got like a Gantt chart. You've got your spreadsheet with your figures on. Then you've got the plans.
So who's project managing the whole thing?
The customer is. So they're the all-female renovation. And they contacted...
Are they filming it or anything like that? Or are they just...
Yeah, we are. So we're documenting ourselves. Kat's got quite a large...
LinkedIn.
So just before we get into that, just... little explainer for what we're talking about for everybody listening and watching.
So we're working on an all-female renovation project. So a couple have approached us and asked us to be part of a team, which we've now ended up
being the team,
which is not a bad thing. It's not, so you know, we get what we has. But everybody from the structural engineer all the way through to, well, hopefully now the roofer, the architect, structural engineer. Building control, that girl called Abby's coming out. You know, you've got a female electrician. They've got British Gas involved because one of them works for British Gas. So they've got a heat source pump and solar panels that's going to be fitted by female engineers that have come from different places. Even like the Sky engineer turned up to move the satellite dish, and it was a girl. So like, I think the only thing they have struggled with is the roofer, isn't it?
The roofer, yeah.
So that's a little...
Yeah, so if you're...
any female roofers or anybody watching this that is a roofer, that knows a female roofer, hit us up in the comments for that.
Yeah, jump on.
Hopefully it won't be done by then. When's this going to go out?
About 2 weeks.
Oh, no.
Oh, we'll have it loads of time. Loads of time, yeah.
Female roofer, we will find you. Have you had a look on, or asked like on the tools or anybody like that? If they...
we have put a lot out, haven't we?
We've like messaged a few people. They're either busy... or
they're like seconds.
That's what we find is a lot of females. I think it's a confidence thing. Oh, your bag.
That was my bag.
I thought she broke the chair.
ADHD, she's just undoing the screws as she sat there. Yeah, like a lot of female trades seem to be seconds. I think it's a confidence thing.
It is
you
a
and I have had
confidence
a
thing.
conversation about it.
The client sometimes always goes to the guy, the male. Sometimes, even though
you're the first, like
yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a competency.
And how did that project come about then for you? Were you contacted by
the wonderful world of Instagram. Yeah.
And that's how they found you?
So I literally had a message, you know, when you got a general box and
then the
one
requests
disappears. Yeah. So I looked in it and I thought, you know, because you have loads of random stuff coming into it, don't you? So you're like, yeah, of course. And then they messaged me again. I thought, oh, this is something. So I just messaged him back. We had a few back and forth. And then I said, oh, it's probably too big for me to take on myself. So I messaged Yaz. And I was like, what are you doing this year?
You fancy a tent?
Yeah. Do you fancy living outside for 6 months? She's like, of course. And that, so we drove down to meet them. They set the plans. We've had obviously like a lot of Skype calls and stuff like that. And it's all just kind of come to fruition since, do you want to say October?
Quite
October,
a good like mini TV documentary.
It would have been really good.
It could have been. It should be very good.
Yeah.
We'd like to document it more, but the fact is, like, because it's a lot of the project is just the two of us. You know, it's like you're trying to set up a tripod, and then you're trying to actually do the work, and you're trying to get the angle, and obviously, like,
it's a job itself.
You need to have a word with Mark. Mark gets all the best angles, and he's still doing his job. I'm like,
how do you do it?
How do you do it?
It's another job. It is another job, isn't it?
I'm useless at that.
I'm like jumping off the digger, and I'm just setting my phone up. I'm like, giving you a phone. She's like, why? I'm like, you need it on landscape.
Angles.
You need it on landscape. She's like, why? I'm like, YouTube.
Oh, crack me up. So you've started this job
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. How long is the project going to take, do you think?
We've estimated 6 months. Takes us in June. So it's a full timber frame extension. And then the internal houses are getting gutted. So we're just about ready to pull the footings now mid next week. Then we move inside because there's internal footings.
And
underpinning, yes.
That's what I'm doing with that bungalow at the moment.
Joys of that.
So you've got six months of that.
6 months, yeah.
And then go back to Wales and Brighton?
No,
after that,
so we just keep going. So this is, Yaz and I met through Instagram. So this is like the catalyst, basically. We you know, you talk big games and you're like, yeah, we should do this and we should do that. And then this is almost like, I would say fall into our laps, isn't it, really? It's come at a great time. So we've then got something lined up for Bromley, which is an extension. Then there's like a few smaller jobs that we're going to jump on together. And then there's like another house build. So like realistically, we're covered for till the end of the year, like together.
Yeah.
We just got to survive living outside.
Outside, yeah.
The next 6 months.
We're covered anyway to the end of the year. And then basically the aim of it is just to keep going and then bringing more people involved, really.
Yeah, like the apprentice thing. Like we're both, I think, now in a situation where we could, probably after this one, we could bring someone along. And that's something, because I think we've gone through different paths and different journeys and difficulties. We're like, someone else should do this. And we love it so much that we're like, come and have a go. Like, it'll change your life.
Would you hire another female apprentice?
Anybody. You know?
Anybody, it doesn't matter.
As long as you're keen. Yeah.
So should we go back with you to when you left school and how did you come into the world of carpentry? And
so I actually left school to be a plumber.
And then had the same.
And then,
no poo pipes for me.
No poo pipes. I was keen for the poo pipes. I'm not
I'll be saying that next week.
Well, that's the next one. It was 2008, so I had
the old
recession. So I lost my apprenticeship. And the only job that was actually going was in the local pub. So I do it in the local pub with all the 3 o'clock lads. So like they all finish, they're plasterers, they're bricklayers, plumbers. Still wouldn't take me on though. And they used to just say, so I used to work like 3 till like 11. And then they started saying, what are you doing tomorrow? And I'm like, whatever you want. And he's like, do you fancy jumping on barrow? I'm like, yeah, go on then. Or like, and then, so one guy, Steve, gave me a start basically. And then for months and months on end, probably like a few years, I used to work for these guys like 7 till 2:30. And then I'd go home, shower and open the pub up. and then serving drinks till 10 o'clock at night. And I did that for such a long time. And then people say to you, oh, you need to get a real job. Because I was just labouring, and I was like, yeah, of course. So I went to work in insurance, which is just a joke, isn't it? Have you seen me type?
I love these stories because they're just so random.
I type like this.
Well, I was labouring and I was in a pub, but then I went to work in insurance. That Churchill dog was talking to me. Oh, yes.
So I did that for 2, maybe 3 years.
You did well there, I've got to say, because that's another one of my 4-day jobs.
Oh,
Defo.
I don't know how to speak to people on the phone either. You know, it's not my bag. And they ask you stupid questions. You're like, no, I'm the one asking the questions. But so I did that for, like 3 years. I don't know what I've done after that. I've done so much.
You've done so much. I can't.
I got a door license. I went to work in Amazon.
As in like security?
Like a bouncer. Yeah, yours is going as well.
I've
it's
got
like a
one.
rite of passage.
Yeah.
The extra money.
Just weekends or something like that.
Got any ID, mate?
Can you imagine us two on the door?
Go on, give us your best security one.
You're not coming in.
You got any ID, mate? Go on, give us your.
Where's your ID?
I like that one. What about? Come on then. Got any ID, mate?
Got any ID, mate?
People just look over me. I'm standing there like, no, you're not coming in.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you down there. Here's my identification.
I was working in a bar in Neath, and some guy once said to me, are you a ninja? I was like, pardon? He said, you must be a ninja. I said, why would I be a ninja? He said, because I've never seen a girl on the door before. I was like, what? He's like, oh, are you there? I was like, obviously not. What do you want? Are you a ninja? I was like, oh.
So Amazon door.
My sister's probably going to listen to this back and go, she missed loads of them. She missed loads. Because it's the same thing. I'm like, oh, this doesn't suit me. And they'd be like, when are you going to settle down? It's like, when I find something.
Then you hate that because at that precise moment when you've just left somewhere, all you're thinking about is getting another job. You're not even thinking about like.
Well, so I delivered paint. I quite enjoyed that. I used to deliver paint on West Wales. You get there at 7 o'clock, you pick the van up, just drive around West Wales in the summer.
Did it ever spill? I had an incident in my boot where I went to take some paint back to B&Q because I hadn't used it. I opened the boot when I got back and I'm not kidding you.
Everywhere.
Oh,
Where'd you even start with that?
I got home and my wife met me at the door with about 4 million towels. And I was like, I managed to get a fair whack of it out. I had to go and get the car like fully car detailed.
Yeah,
and I was thinking this is never coming out. And they pretty much got it all out.
Is it
what colour?
Lotion?
Grey.
I just rubbed it in. It's supposed to be grey.
All grey. Because it was, like the
it
cloth,
goes
the cloth material, isn't it, in the boot. So it just stuck. I was like...
Lucky it's not gloss.
Yeah.
Fit in gyms. I did that for a while. Yeah, I used to fit gyms. So I worked for a company, they're Cardiff-based, and we fitted, like, Stoke Football Club. What's the massive stadium that all the English rugby people love?
Twickenham.
Did Twickenham. Yeah, Stoke when Peter Crouch was there. St George's, is it a school?
Oh, yeah, the academy.
Yeah. So did the Tokyo Olympics, but I can't remember what I done. I missed the Tokyo Olympics. I worked with them all the way up until...
Because that was COVID, wasn't it, the Tokyo?
Yeah, just before, I think. So we didn't go, and then I went travelling. I can't remember which way around this is. I went travelling, and I was like, my friend MJ's from Brighton as well, and he's a carpenter in Australia. And I was like, I've always wanted to be a carpenter, and I explained. And he said, just go home, go and do it. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And then ended up working for this gym company, which is fitting. So I was like, I'm getting that a little bit closer. And then he got to a point, and I was like, I ended up busting my knee and working in the marketing department. I know. It's like, how? She was like, well, we can't afford just not to, because it wasn't a big place. So they were like, we can't afford not to just pay you. And you seem to have a lot of ideas. I was like, chat shit, yeah. So they were like, can you come in the marketing department? So I did that for, I think it was like the 6 or 8 months that I was off my feet. And then it got to a point and I was like, I've done this full circle. I've done it again. I'm starting this cycle of jobs that I enjoy, but they're not.
Before I know it, I'll be back in insurance.
Yeah, I'll be back selling the insurance like. So I just jacked it in. It came to the pandemic and I jacked it in. And I went to I applied for this labouring job again, and it was labouring fitting fire doors, and there wasn't really much to do. You'd load doors out and then you just mince around for the day doing nothing. So I just used to jump on with the boys. They used to like give me little jobs, just do architrave and stuff like that, and skirting. And then I was like, this is it. I'm that much closer. So I went to I bought a block course. So it's 3 months course to be a carpenter. And I did that. And then I've just hopped. So I've done the same thing that I used to do, which is hop. But then I've had the luxury of working with really cool people. So in the midst of all this, I moved to Southampton. And do you know Carl Chance?
Heard the name.
Yeah, you wouldn't. He's off Instagram. But I worked with Carl, and he's phenomenal. So I worked with Carl for a bit. I worked for another guy. So Carl does a bit like of structural carpentry and a bit of everything. And then I worked for another guy that did fitted furniture. And then I worked, where was I then? Where did I go after that? I went timber framing.
This is like test of memory.
Yeah.
This is
Because I'm so...
She's done so much.
As soon as I got a bite of the cake, I was like, I want to know more.
Yeah.
So it was just a case of not like cycling through people, but I was like, right, so I've got a good grasp of that. I have an understanding. Like the fitted furniture, I was like, this is cool. I've enjoyed it, but
so
it's not what I want to do.
How many years was it then since you left school to before you started to realise actually this is... Because this is another thing as well, is when you get your... Well, what do you want to do with your life?
I'm not,
I
I want to be a plumber.
How
I don't think you know at that age.
No, but I just knew that
I just wanted to play
I
football.
don't think some people...
You should play football.
Yeah.
But I don't think some people ever know.
No.
No, you just
And then
kind
they're
of...
just miserable in a grey box, you know, the
Yeah.
old grey boxes that they sit
And
in.
until you find something, like we have.
Yeah.
We're just like,
Because we have so many people as well who are, I don't know, in their 30s or 40s, can I retrain?
Starting again, yeah.
I think that's great. Like,
I think...
I've taught a lot of people.
It's
that
a bit,
are older.
yeah.
it's a bit different because obviously you've got maybe kids and a mortgage or something like that, so you've got a few more responsibilities. But I always think if you're going to do it, just
Do it.
Just go and do it. Yeah.
You're so much more happier.
Yeah, like I think I've been on this, the path for probably like 6 years. And the last, where are we now? Like 3 or 4 years, I really think I've actually become a carpenter. Like I feel like I'm going to hold my own.
Absolutely.
I've had the luxury, like I said, of working with Carl and Alex and people like that. So, who just love sharing knowledge. So like this, I've got to that point like through them basically, and just being like asking questions. Like I am a bit, like I stalked you for a little bit, didn't I? Like I was like, be my friend, be my friend.
Hello.
Yeah, literally.
In the
like,
requests.
I
Hello.
say to my partner, she hasn't messaged me back. She's like, stop being weird. I'm like, yeah, but I want to have a friend. And there we are now. So I've just
Persistence.
pursued it. Yeah, like I've dogged it.
We won't call it stalking, or
Yeah.
we just call it persistence.
Yeah,
I think that's
I'm
better for
persistently
the.
a friend. Like.
Yeah.
It's when in 2
Honestly.
years' time you're on the news. I've stalked her. I'll be like,
Outside Robin Clement's
"Oh,
house.
she just. We called it persistence back then. Are you wasting time? I think that some of you probably are, and I have a solution for you. Nobody wants to do any type of admin. Now, I have a solution for you, and it is called Tradify. It's a fully automated job scheduling, invoicing, and quoting all in one place. Now, that software is going to save you 12 hours a week, and all by using a simple software solution. Now, you can try it for 2 weeks, absolutely free, no cards needed, and you'll even get support in person from Tradify themselves. Now, when you're done, you can always come back to me and thank me, but just enjoy the extra 12 hours that you're going to gain from just using the software. What other questions can I ask, Jack?
Have you ever had any sort of nightmare jobs or nightmare customers?
Oh, mate.
Oh,
On-site
God.
situations?
How long have we got?
On-site.
I need to go home tonight.
I have had a few. I was doing a project. It was the first time I was project manager for a company, and the guy who we was doing his house for, he was a lecturer. He was like, it worked in the university basically, like super intelligent, and every 2 weeks we used to get the architect there to basically run through the meeting. So they were paying the architect X amount of money for the meeting that I run. And in the end, he was like, I'm not having her anymore because it's just costing me too much money. You're running the meeting. And then he was just like, you constantly problem solve. He's like, you're really, really intelligent person. I was like literally so surprised because he generally thought builders or tradies didn't
Have any sense.
Didn't have any sense. Like,
I honestly think that's ingrained in a lot of people.
yeah.
Though, isn't it?
And he was like, but the way he just turned his head, it was like, you're actually really intelligent. You're constantly problem solving.
Like he
and I
discovered
didn't
fire.
know what to say because I was in shock to think.
It's because he thought you were a footballer, you see. He thought you...
She's done too many headers.
So yeah, that's the only, like, I wouldn't really say that was tricky. It was just he didn't value my skill really until the end of the project when I was getting over things. So
Well, you didn't have to pay 650 quid for the architect. So
exactly
you're
that,
saying,
basically, yeah. But I wouldn't really say I've had awkward because you just get over a situation. Well, I am anyway. I try to
manage it, don't you? Ben?
manage it and build up the relationship with the client, so I don't need to have those awkward conversations or someone getting thrown off and stuff like that. That's kind of how I play it,
Yeah.
really.
I'd say the same. Other than the standard 8 o'clock text on a Sunday, like flapping about what door handles, that thing you're guilty of. It's because
I think
the thing
my
is,
thing though is ADHD. So literally, if I think about it,
You've got to do it then.
If I don't send that message,
Yeah.
at even if it's 2 a.m, I forget, and I wake up the next day and I'm like,
what was I thinking?
no, it's gone now, and that's it. Like I have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So impulsive with stuff like that. If I don't do it, then it's
Not getting done.
Yeah, it's not getting done.
You were the same as well.
Yeah,
didn't
I'm the
you?
same.
I
Just
carry
get
a
it
little
done.
book around with me, so every time I get a thought, I think.
I
put
won't
in the
write
book.
it in the book and then leave the book on
I haven't
on the
written
bus or something. Like, have you found a book on the? No, we haven't.
No.
My whole life's in that book. So yeah, I'm massively guilty of that. What's the hardest bit then for you about being in the trade? What would you say really stresses you out?
Really stress money. I think money's a big thing in here.
Asking for it because some guys are like, right, so what am I getting paid today? Like they're on it.
Yeah,
instantly.
like I've done a week's work without asking what day rate I'm on. Because you just don't want to approach a subject.
You don't want to approach it, and it's like having that awkward conversation of, I know my value and I know what they're on. I shouldn't be paid any less. That's the most awkward thing for me. Really, is money.
And customers as well. Like sometimes you do a project and you think, you sat there in front of the invoice, you think, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But at the time, you're probably thinking it's because you haven't got that money to spend. But they have. But you will sit there and you're like, you go through the numbers again, you're like, are you sure it's that much? And then you send it across and they go, yeah, no bother, thank you very much. We'll book you in for next week. And you're like, what? I think that's the biggest one, is the conversation of money and extras.
I don't call them extras. I call them uplifts. It's just creates a better relationship.
Do you know the one bit of advice I always gave to people that came on? Because I always said, oh, well, you've run the business, like, how do you budget for stuff? And I said, well, you remember everyone always says it's unlucky 13 for the phrase.
Yeah.
I said it's good luck for 13 because I always, whatever it was, I'd always put 13% on.
Really? Everything?
13, but like if I came to a price and that's that, put 13% on. Because it was always, I don't know why, 10% you can sometimes go over. But if you're going to go over, like run over on a job, it's normally like 1 or 2% that really buggers you, and you've lost 800 quid on a job.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between just sticking that little. So I always said, look, if you're worried about a quote and you think, oh, am I going in too cheap? Whatever you've got, that figure, add 13% on top, and you'll notice just how different your business changes.
13%. There's the one.
That's a tip for everybody there.
Yeah, I was going to say that's.
You never know what's like in our sort of line of work. Is you'll order a product, and then you'll have currency fluctuations. So the very next day, you could have set up a payment to go through, and you know what banks are like. Sometimes it could take 2 days to go through.
Yeah.
By the time it's gone through, the currency's dropped by 10%.
But if you've already got the 13.
But you got the 13 in, you're still covered.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
what we used to do as well is, like the dollar rate against the pound, I think is 1.26 at the moment. I would always price it as 1 = 1, which is like, there'd have to be a bit of a financial crisis to hit that. But again, you still know that I've got something then. So if ever the product doesn't sell, I can discount the product.
Yeah.
I've got that leeway in there. That's regardless of the 13%, and then the 13% is on the sale price.
Yeah.
So eventually, you start getting this buffer that builds up in your bank account.
Yeah.
And
So you don't end up.
And then if ever you do get really, I'm in the mess here,
Yeah.
because you're on a larger job, you've got that.
You got a little bank to keep you going. Yeah.
Cushion.
Yeah. I've been like not done a couple of times, but I've done myself out of a job.
But
I
if,
did.
but if you were to put that 30, say you go and you price up all your materials,
Yeah.
13% on top of that,
Yeah.
then your day rate 13%
13
on top.
plus 15%.
And eventually you come out with a figure that's probably 30%.
Yeah.
So you know that you're making good margin and good profit on every job.
So
Obviously,
even if you have a cruddy day, you've still got 30% just looking after you.
so just try
Yeah,
it.
we should try.
I was
it.
going to say,
And don't ever be worried about handing over your price to somebody, because I know obviously you said it was an awkward conversation. Is your price is your price.
Yeah.
It's up to somebody else then to negotiate on the price. And I always just say, look, I appreciate obviously if you can't afford it, that's fine. You
Yeah.
know, some people can't, and that's fine. But unfortunately, that's
that's the price.
that's my price. And say I don't want to offend you by negotiating for 5p or 6p. And I go, regardless of price, if price wasn't an issue, would you take me up on the job? Yeah. So well,
Take
you've
it.
just answered your
Yeah.
question.
I do find that you get like pushed more on price because you're a female.
Yeah,
or not?
that is a thing
I
as
feel
well.
like it's easier to
But I-
approach.
it's
isn't it?
money.
It's because they
as a-
probably think that you
Yeah.
don't want that awkward. But
'Cause
that's
you
why I
don't-
say
because
to
we
you-
don't,
but
yeah.
that's why I say to you, if you build it in behind, you can just say, look, I've really gone to town on the quote for you. But honestly, I can't do any more. And I'd love to do it, because if I did it for you, I'd have to do it for everybody else.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, if you want a competitive price with a good finish, that's what
That's
the
the
price is.
price. I don't know. Sometimes, because 90% of the time, like, where does your work come from?
That's where your social
like
media.
word of mouth and social
Yeah,
media,
like-
really.
Do you get a lot through socials? Other than this job, I've only really got one other job through socials.
Some people,
one
some
thing.
people get a lot of work through socials. and
Alex
some-
gets all of his work through socials. Yeah.
Lewis does as well. Doesn't
Yeah,
he?
yeah, he does. Yeah.
I could imagine now getting the female customers. Hello. I've seen the way that you get that plunge saw out.
It's because he's always doing the hair flip.
He is, isn't he? I imagine
loves
him
it.
doing, "Wow, body farm," you know, like some sort
Honestly, he.
of like, on a hair shampoo. Yeah, what was the what was that?
L'Oreal
bloody-
thing.
Not L'Oreal. What was the other one where it was not Vosine? What's it called? Timotei. You remember the ad? And it was like, Timotei. I could imagine him on an advert like that, just in there, like.
He loves it. He loves it. When he pulls his bobble out.
He does, and he does
shakes
that,
it.
doesn't he?
Oh, he loves it. I love him though, so he can do what he wants.
He's a good character.
He's brilliant. He's been really good for me. He's been really good for the sense of working with him. He has like oodles of confidence and he's very sure of who he is. So like when you're around him, it kind of rubs off on you. So like now, when I'd second guess myself, I'm like, no, I can do this. I'm good. And it just, I don't know, you just develop like we're working together, but he's like, I've got to nip out. Can you just crack on with that? And it's probably something I wouldn't a job that I wouldn't pick up on my own, because I'd be like, I'm not too sure that I want to do that on my own. But just the faith that he's got in you to be like, you're grand, get on with it. I'm like, yeah, I can.
I think it's really important, the people that you hang around with, because they push you to be
He's like a
better,
type man.
better
Yeah,
at something.
yeah.
So you need people like that where they're, come on,
you can do it.
because otherwise you're never. And it's the same with, again, negotiating price. The more you do it,
The easier it gets.
the easier it gets. And once you get your spiel for it, you just say the same thing to everybody. And
it's
then,
silence.
any other questions, Jack?
Why did you start your social medias in the first place?
I started mine for work. I think I was like when I started, I don't know. I think my partner told me to do it. And I already followed a lot of carpentry on my personal page anyway. So I was like, oh, well, I'll document my journey and maybe it'll come to a point where I can get money from it. As in, like, customers, not just money. Just give me money. And then I met, like I said, I met Carl through it, which I ended up subcontracted into Carl. And then it just kind of, because he had a bit of a, he had a bit of a following, and then it just kind of snowballed, and I enjoyed it as well. Like, it got to the point where I was proud of what I was producing. And then, obviously, you show the proudness, and then someone interacts, and you think, oh, my God, and it's all the affirmation that sometimes you don't give yourself comes from it. And it's just snowballed like that. But mainly because I thought that I'd get clients through it.
But it is, it's your portfolio, isn't it? Like, when I was
Yeah.
doing bits or house and stuff like that. They wanted to see pictures and stuff of what I'd done and things like that. And I was like, yeah, just look at my Instagram and it's on there. It shows people me actually doing
the
things.
work, yeah.
And yeah, so, and obviously to connect as well.
To make friends.
To make friends.
We have to be friends because I will keep messaging you until you are.
Because I'm persistent.
Honestly.
That's where the eye contact gets awkward.
Yeah.
So what does the future hold for both of you? What's the, I'm not going to say 5-year plan, but what would you like to see happen from a work perspective? What were you?
This.
Yeah.
Just keep going.
Keep
Yeah.
going. We've obviously had the discussion about taking on apprentice and property development later down the line, haven't we? So,
Yeah.
That's kind of the goal, really. Just to keep going, having fun with it as well. Like,
Yeah,
I like
just-
my job.
I
I
know,
love
I
my
love
job.
it.
Like, love it. And I don't want it to turn into just work. Like,
I think we've got like a good working relationship, and we both get a bit stressed, but the other one will just like pull the other one out of the stress, or just take the piss most of the time, isn't it? But it's just nice to work with someone who's
on the same page.
and we met. So we met because
you stalked her.
Yeah, because I stalked her. I stalked her to the point where I was putting a...
You will work with me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not just work with me.
Okay.
She drove from Brighton to South Wales to help me put a roof on my house.
It's a good journey, that.
It was a good journey. Came for... How many days did you come for?
I think it was like 3 days.
3 days.
3
Helped me
days.
pitch a roof on my extension.
She wanted a free.
She wanted a friend as well.
Free Hollybob.
in the Welsh Valleys, yeah. She came down, helped me pitch my roof for 3 days, and was just like, see you then. Didn't ask for anything, didn't want any money, didn't want anything. I was like, I've got a friend. It's happened. But like,
No, but you asked for help, and I think like...
Yeah, but I meant like, can you help me? Like, what do you think I should do?
Well,
And
I
you were
didn't
like,
have
I'll be
anything-
there on Wednesday.
I didn't have anything booked in. It was summer. I was all right for money, and I just thought...
Was the weather good in South Wales as well?
It was all right.
It was banging, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah, it was like 3 days. As soon as you
And
left, it
I've
rained.
never worked with a female before. So it was
a
nice.
novelty, wasn't
yeah,
it?
we had our tool belts on. We just boom, go for it. Went for a nice run after, didn't
Yeah.
we? It was and nice steak.
Yeah.
So more of the same.
Yeah, more the same.
Maybe a little sprinkle of property development. Anything
Love to do that.
else you think of, or?
I quite enjoy teaching.
I've never had the opportunity, but
I've taught a few.
I mean, I know
People.
brands like, obviously, Velocity that you do stuff with. They go to colleges, I think. don't
yeah,
they?
I went to
So
a
would
college
you-
with
Stabila.
Stabila. Yeah.
CNC1, Stabila, they all do some stuff. So maybe that's a...
Yeah, I quite enjoy teaching. I've taught quite a few people.
I don't want to come
I've
off
got
the tools
patience.
completely.
No.
No, like everyone's goal when you speak to them is like, get bigger and just pull strings. I think the idea of doing that seems great, but like we've had a
The
discussion.
reality of it, yeah.
Paperwork, so much paperwork in there. And obviously like the losing control.
It's what you get the apprentice for.
Yeah.
Are you any good with paperwork? You're not doing anything with tools. In you come.
But I feel like
tell?
as I got bigger, that's the one thing I would put out, the paperwork for somebody else,
Yeah.
rather than me do the paper and get somebody else to do the work, because that's
Stay
the
on the
fun
tools.
bit, that's the
Well,
nice
this,
bit.
Yeah.
this is another thing that I argue with people about, because people always go, oh yeah, you've like, don't get me wrong, you have to try and get off the tools to a certain
Yeah,
extent,
I agree.
but you also have to be clever, as in if you're not paperwork or invoices orientated, give that to somebody
no,
else.
yeah.
Find somebody that's really
Be
good
good.
at it, and you focus on the stuff that you are, because a lot of people, they'll try and do everything and then realise, actually, I'm not very good at all of this.
All of it.
But
Yeah.
I'm spending 70% of my time on it. Spend 70% of your time
Doing what you want to do.
doing the jobs and get somebody else to do that stuff. But you can't tell people sometimes.
No.
No.
I think,
We have
work
conversations about like longevity in the job as well, don't we? Like we're not big girls.
No.
We're not big people.
She's like, what are you talking about, Brad?
We have been going to the gym though.
Yeah, we did. Like once last week. It was really good.
We are going to grow. That was another aim, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
that's our goal for the next 6 months is to get massive.
Dame Judy Hench.
Literally, just giving it a big hand. But we talk about longevity because obviously we're not very big anyway. I'm not saying that
I don't think anybody realises how long they actually have before the body conks
Stops,
out.
yeah.
Because it's
it's
physically
tough.
taxing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, especially in this weather.
Yeah, the
It's
cold makes everything
And
worse.
it's like it makes you.
And when you're on the digger,
Yeah, but when you're hurting, it makes you not enjoy it.
I was waiting to
Yeah.
go, oh, it's got heated.
Oh, yeah.
Heated seat.
She sat on the dumper like this, freezing, and I'm like, "Are you okay?"
Coats on, my coat, like hat, and she's like, "We'll keep going for half hour." I'm like, "No, we need to get out." I thought I was going to lose a toe this week. It was awful.
Yeah, it's been cold, but going back to that, I don't want to be. Do you know where your body's hurting, and then it just makes you miserable, and you.
Yeah,
don't
you've like
You
same as I have. We've worked with people
The
like
thing
that.
is, you can't take a day off as well when you're self-employed, really. If your body, well, you can.
Yeah,
but you're not
gotta
getting
pay for
paid.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
You're
But-
still paying for it, and then if you've got to go to a chiropractor or you've got to go.
Oh, I do that once a week anyway.
yeah.
I put that in because I need my body to keep going. So I just
No, without it, you can't work.
exactly.
So-
But I would like to stay on the tools and in and around site, but maybe not doing as much. And if I got like an apprentice or a bigger team,
yeah.
we could take a seat back and
Do the
I said,
cream, really,
do the
innit?
cream, teaching, or that kind of thing, more
The
than
stuff that you want to be doing.
not being on site at all and just turning up for why is that not done? Why is that not done?
Yeah.
I'd rather be let's get this.
Swinging a
Do you-
couple
you know,
doors
that
while
kind
they're
of
like
thing.
loading them out.
Exactly
Yeah.
that. That's kind of more of how I would like it to go
To
anyway.
future,
yeah.
Sounds good. So what we tend to do as well around about this time is we've had your backstory, we've had what you want
Millions
to
of jobs.
do in the future. Give us one bit of advice, or you can shamelessly plug your channel or whatever else. What else do we say people can do round about this time? It's a bit like a Jerry Springer final thought,
yeah.
where you can sort of like either tell us something that you wish you'd known or whatever, like a piece of advice, or it could be, I've talked about what we're doing in the future, but I'd also like to do this. It's like the stage is yours, and it could be absolutely anything that you want to discuss, talk about.
You wanted to
or-
get across.
Yeah, like I feel so. We've had conversations, like we've come through like different paths to get here. My biggest thing is there's a small a small amount of people in the industry that are trolls, a very small amount. But like 90% of the people I've worked with, blokes I've worked with, they've been phenomenal. They've been fantastic. Like I've had 2 bad experiences since I was 16.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes they just get a bad rap. This was like, and there are some idiots out there in it, like you do get a comment now and then. But 99% of these people, these blokes, they sound. And I think sometimes that pulls people, like girls getting into the trade because they're afraid of like the old boys. But it's not so much of a boys' club anymore. I think when you do come across it, it's 9 times out of 10 you'll get stuck up for by other blokes on site.
So would you say to people that are listening and watching that
Don't be.
it's just a small minority?
It is a small minority.
Because I feel like there is still that
There's
vibe,
change,
that
yeah.
vibe, but it has like massively since even when we started doing the podcast, it's completely changed.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's like any walk of life, you're always going to get a dickhead, aren't you?
Yeah. Like if you don't know who the dickhead is, it's usually you. Like, yeah. But I would just say to any girls who are coming into the trade,
Or anyone.
Anyone, yeah, like young lads, like don't be afraid and like educate yourself. Like you might not be the best tradesperson, you might not be able to lift the most, but like if you just skill yourself up on say building regs, if you just know them like the back of your hand, you keep up to date with them, you'll become a tool in your own self. Like you'll be indispensable. So it's not always the physical aspect or skill set that's going to take you somewhere. There's always
A niche, like
a small niche that you can
I never
just
thought of
get
something like
best
that.
on.
That's true with
Like-
say building rigs.
because, like you say it all the time, you're never going to catch up.
Yeah, like
Because-
I'm so far behind. So like,
You'd be like an encyclopedia, wouldn't you?
yeah, I just try and absorb knowledge. Just like if I ask questions, like probably to the point where it's quite annoying, but I want to know because I want to be able to have the answers.
Persistent.
Persistent.
That's just your persistence.
Yeah.
Going out.
And the same as like I was speaking to one of the girls and she's just becoming a kitchen fitter and she's like in her mid-30s and she's like, well, will I catch up? I'm like, probably not. But if you learn all the ranges and if you learn all the technical parts about how dishwasher doors fit on or what appliances go where, no one's going to take that away from you.
Technology, tools, the way to install things completely change over a set period of time. So you might not catch up on what you're on now, But something
Yeah.
changes within the industry, and you're like,
I know that.
I'm on
Yeah.
it. And then you end up knowing more about something than...
Yeah.
It's like these. These
Oh,
weren't
yeah.
about 20 years ago, really. Or if they were,
Basic.
Yeah, playing Snake on them.
Doo-doo.
Yeah,
And now we can talk into it, and it types for us.
your best mate, ChatGPT.
So, what about you then? Is there any knowledge you'd like to drop, or anything that you can think of? It's quite hard when somebody puts you on the spot, isn't it?
Plug yourself, Yaz. Get that D-Walt sponsorship.
We need some tools.
By the time I get that sponsor, I'll have everything. They're like, what do you want? I've got it all.
I got a couple of stickers, please.
Yeah, stickers to do. I think for me, really, is pretty much, we had this discussion in the car, and it was basically the same of what you've just covered, really.
Yeah.
Like, don't be afraid to come into the industry, and like I'll help anyone. Like, I drove all the way to Wales to help you out.
You
So
did, yeah.
if anyone needs help or a hand, like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to work for free all the time.
Yeah.
But if you need a hand or anything like that, advice, whatever, just message. Like,
Just ask,
My
yeah.
following isn't as big as yours because I'm not on my
it.
phone as much, and I just can't be like all the time. I'm not massive on it, but I'm getting better because you're teaching me.
Yeah.
But yeah, if there's anything, just ask. But yeah, YPC carpentry. So yeah, any questions?
Well, I will say thank you very much to our two fabulous guests that came in. And once again, because Mark always gives me a shoe-in for this because I don't plug it enough.
Plug it.
If you like the channel, please like, subscribe, hit us up in the comments, put the notifications on, because it really helps us and supports the channel. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for my
Thank
two
you.
guests. It's been absolutely
Thank you.
fantastic.
Thank you.
And that is Trade Legends episode whatever.